we're moving to the first question of the class, and it says, what do I know about inclusive education? So this is like a diagnose, okay? What do I know about this? One of you already participated and gave his own opinion about this. Now I would like to hear somebody else. So what do you know about inclusive education? You know, I mean, in your own words, it doesn't have to be a very structured concept. So what do you know about it? So anybody?
Yes,
Okay.
inclusive education. I think it is, for example, like in the short video that you just watched, and we can have maybe one student in the group that has some issues like psychological or physical, and we have to find a way to um, make that student fit in with
Yeah.
the other class, with other mates. That's what I understand.
Excellent. Excellent. Rafa. Nice. Somebody else? Someone else? Should I choose somebody? Eileen Ramos, what do you think?
Well, I think that the inclusive education, well, the teachers, for example, in the video, maybe the the teacher has to like to imply some strategies to have to balance in some kids or something like that.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Now, let's put it in a different context, guys. Um, Imagine that in your class, we have one of the students in our class right now. Let's say that he cannot see. He cannot see. He or she is blind. Okay. Imagine that we have a blind person in our class. So, as a teacher, what should I do? What should I do? Can you imagine? Should I just give up and tell the coordinator of the career that I cannot work with a student because he's blind? Can I say that? Can I do that?
Totally no.
Okay, then if you're saying no, then what would I do? I mean, what would you do? Let's say.
Maybe you can try to learn Braille
Okay, all right.
and
What else?
then teach the rest of the class to the Braille method
Okay,
too, in order to include that girl or boy that is blind. Hmm?
okay, all right. That's an option. Excellent, Diego. Somebody else? Someone else?
Well, I think that in that would be a really complex case because you have to pay more attention, especially that student that have that problem. And I don't know, but maybe in the public system,
Yeah.
public school, the teacher have to adapt to that situation because there's, as we all know, there's a special school for those kind of students, right? But in this case, you cannot say that student you cannot accept it. So as my classmate just said, as a teacher, we have to try to learn new skills depending on the situations.
Awesome. Awesome. So,
I have a question.
okay, okay, Jose.
I mean, is the Braille method the same in all languages, or are they different? I mean, in English than in Spanish?
Honestly, Jose, I don't know. I think it's the same. I mean, with the Braille thing, they have. I think they count the because they are holes, right? So I think they count them. If somebody else knows the right answer, please, it would be nice to share it. But I think that they
Yep.
just count them, and I think it has to do just with the letter. Since English alphabet is similar with the Spanish, I think there's no problem with that.
But with the word formation and stuff, I mean,
Yeah,
imagine that you have to translate something, or he has to translate something, then he translated into Braille or to Spanish or Braille to English. I mean, must be a problem, I think.
exactly, exactly. It would be a
Yeah,
really yeah,
but there are challenges and we have to face them. It's our job after all.
yeah. All those opinions that you mentioned it take me to this conclusion. Actually, to a question: are we ready to have inclusive education in our public system or private system?
We have a long way to go.
Okay. Somebody else? So are we ready for that? Imagine that, like I told you, if somebody sent me, and talking about my case, a blind person, I mean, that would be a challenge for me. Honestly, it would be a challenge because I don't know much about it. So I would have to read, I would have to research about that. Probably, as Diego said, I would have to learn how to use the braille thing. And then probably I would have to do that. However, as Jose, I guess Jose was saying, in our public system, we have special schools for those cases. However, in higher education, our people is not usually prepared for giving the best service to these people. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, inclusive education should not be limited to make your students feel comfortable or fit in. I think inclusive education has to do with preparation, has to do with trainings. Like if you have, let's say that if you have two students, or three students that are deaf, you know, it's necessary for you to learn the sign language. You know what I mean? And in English and Spanish, that it's different. So it would be very, very challenging to learn that. However, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Or imagine if you have a student in your class that is that suffered of autism. You know, have you heard about autism? Have you heard about it?
Yes, yes.
Have you heard about
Yeah.
the condition?
Asperger,
Yes,
Asperger, yeah.
Asperger or the Asperger. Let me tell you an experience. I have had an Asperger in my class, and it was hard. It was difficult. He was very, very smart. He was an incredible student. However, I could not understand what he wrote down. So it was hard for me to understand. But when I asked him to read, he could read it on perfect and I could understand it. However, when I tried to read it, I couldn't. So that's one ability that they have, that they probably normal people or not normal people, let's say regular people like us, don't understand what they write. However, they know, they can decode what they write. It's tough, but it's true. Another thing about Asperger students, they cannot or they don't understand sarcasm. Maybe you can tell a joke and they don't understand it. They take everything literally. You know what I mean? So with these kind of students, you need to be careful because if you say something, they take like that. They take it like that literally. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot make jokes with them, and they usually can't lie. They cannot lie. You know. So those are some aspects about them. Some of them also have problems socializing, and making friends. So they have those kind of problems. So you guys, when you go to a public school, you're gonna find different learning styles, different limitations, and you have to, you have to shuffle them. I mean, you have to play with them. You have to find a way to overcome the situations. And as I said before, if you are a really good teacher, if you want to be a great teacher, then you have to find a way about helping them. As I said before, being a teacher is not just going every end of the month and pick up your money. It has to do with some other things. Now, here we have a concept. So in general, inclusive education is based on the principle that local schools should provide for all children, regardless of any perceived difference, disability, or other social, emotional, cultural, or linguistic difference. So pay attention to that concept. Look at that. It is a big responsibility if you pay attention. So inclusive education is based on the principle that local schools, okay, public schools should provide for all children, regardless of any perceived difference, disability, or other social, emotional, cultural, or linguistic difference. In the USA, for example, like if a Spanish speaker kid goes to school, they cannot refuse or reject the student. So students go to the classes, to the lessons, and they take extra English lessons. But they are in the classroom. They are taking math, they are taking science and all that, and they don't speak English. You know what I mean? So imagine how frustrating, I'm sorry, the situation is for the teacher and also for the student. So as teachers, and this is important, you guys, because you speak Spanish and English, for you guys, there is a very big opportunity in the USA. So when you graduate, if you want to apply for exchanging programs, if you want to apply for working in the USA, then speaking Spanish and English is essential, because schools in the US, they have a lot of Latin people at schools. So it is important, and the government is obligated, to offer education. It's a right. Now, in our country, it's a bit different. It's a bit different. Public education is suffering about a lot of deficiencies, and we are aware of them. And hopefully that our new generations can change that. Now, look at this image. This is really beautiful. Let me ask somebody to read. Okay, Abigail, can you read this, please?
Yeah. Inclusive education allows students of all backgrounds to learn and grow side by side to the benefit of all. At school level, teachers must be trained, buildings must be refurbished, and students must receive accessible learning materials. At the community level, stigma and discrimination must be tackled, and individuals need to be educated on the benefits of inclusive education. UNICEF.
Okay, thanks a lot. So look at this. Inclusive education allows students for all backgrounds to learn and grow side by side to the benefit of all. At the school level, teachers must be trained. Okay, this is important, and I was talking about it, right? Our teachers, they need to be trained. Okay, so how come? Well, imagine that in your class you're gonna have people from different backgrounds. Like imagine that you guys, in your cases, you're gonna go probably to a canton, to work. You're gonna be working in maybe in the city. So the backgrounds are totally different. You know what I mean? Maybe in the canton, maybe like kids there are more innocent than the ones that are from the city. Maybe in the city you're gonna find gangsters, or you're gonna find uh, violence. You're gonna find like kids that their parents are in jail. So you're gonna find a lot of backgrounds, and you have to learn how to deal with it. You have to learn how to teach them and how to treat them. You're not going to treat them all equally. And
They don't
yes,
usually last long in school.
well,
Anyway.
some of them they retired, and that's sad, you know, because a kid should finish school, you know. Our problem, well, the root of all the problems in our country, it's education. You can tell me whatever, you can tell me about the army, about the government, about whatever, but the only problem here is education. If we do not invest money on education, then our country will never change. We will have corruption, we will have bad politicians, we will have bad teachers, we will have gangsters, we will have robbers, we will have crime, whatever. We will have a lot of things like that. So our best bet is education. I don't know if the government have seen it. I think not, because government is taking out $9 million from the education budget. Can you imagine? So that's the only way here in El Salvador, man. If people, like, you know, really know about what we need, it's that we need to know about education, you know, moral values and all that. So that's basically everything that we need in El Salvador. Now, taking or talking about train, you know, I'm pretty sure that you know that our teachers are not receiving the best trainings in the world. So since we have a generation that they don't know how to use computers, you know, and we have a lot of deficiencies. Like I wouldn't finish my class if I start talking about public education. However, we're not talking about just negative things. We're talking about positive as well. So the time is almost over, guys. So I'm gonna ask you to connect or to join the call again, please. So I'll see you in 30 seconds.